Welcome back, MTG Joe here. Today we're continuing to try out a bunch of different decks in Timeless, trying to learn the meta, see what kind of different viable options there are. We will continue, we'll jump back to best of 3 probably next week, but playing a couple of the different best of 1 decks that I saw, coinciding with the best of top 10 list that I put together based on Untapped GG. One of the decks that wasn't featured at that time and has been slowly creeping up is this Rakdos Bombardment list. It's currently in Diamond to Mythic rank. It's been played 58 games, has an 83% win rate. So crazy win rate. Obviously population size is a bit small, but something to definitely worth keeping an eye on. And I wanted to kind of try out the deck, see what it's all about. So the deck itself is built around Goblin Bombardment. So you can sacrifice a creature, it deals 1 damage to any target. You have things that come back from your graveyard, like bloodghast, gets you some value there. You have your Orcish Bowmaster tokens. You have, we'll kind of go card of a card, obviously baubles in these decks, it's kind of a free card. The Stalactite Stalker is an interesting one. Actually, I have to craft these, which is kind of annoying. Use my rare wild cards. No dark rituals for me. I'm out of wild cards, by the way. We are poor. But 1/1 Menace for 1 at the beginning of your end step. If you descended this turn, put a 1/1 counter on it. So Bauble triggers this, any of the fetch lines trigger it, which is really cool. You can get bloodghast back with multiple fetches as well. Stitcher Supplier fills our yard. Artillery Enthusiast, this is an alchemy card. I know, turn off the video now, it's alchemy. Clearly breaking the format. Modified creatures you control have menace. We don't really modify our creatures, but it's more for the second line of text. When it enters the battlefield, you may discard a card. If you do, seek a card with mana value equal to this mana value. So basically randomly pulls a card from your library into your hand. So you discard a 2-drop, you get a different 2-drop to your hand. So it kind of is like a pseudo tutor. Lightning bolts in here. We have a demonic tutor. A lot of the real value of this deck is getting bombardment out. You want to try to maximize that ability. If you don't have Demonic Tutor, you can play Diabolic Intent as well. I just crafted it to have as a 1-of in the format. This version's on Soul the Lost, so there's a lot of red-based damage. Obviously, Fatal Push gets this, but it's a cheap way to, like against the red decks, to just outscale, get a really large creature going. It also has the kind of upside in a way, like discarding a card in this deck's not necessarily the end of the world, or sacrificing a permanent either, because you have like Stitcher Supplier or Little Dorks. And then 2 copies of Inti that allow you, whenever you discard, you get to kind of exile and play the top card of your library. Can also let you draw discard, kind of fueling the descend, as well as giving trample to like your Souls of the Lost, for example, if it's really big. 3 kroxa is an interesting number. I would maybe honestly like play 4 of these, 2 of these, but we're going to play the games as is to see. Mana base, very simple, 4 swamps, 4 blood crypts, and then 11 fetches to try to enable each of the descend style effects. So I ended up getting to Diamond yesterday. I was finally playing casually on my own off the stream. I got there with my Blood Moon deck, had a nice little run there. But Bombardment, let's jump into it and see how it plays out. So as always with these videos, we are trying to see what works, what doesn't, trying to explore. At the end of the day, the record's a record that happens. Like I know with the burn video I put out, the list was like 70-something%, and we were just getting like the wrong side of variance in the games. With best of 1, you sometimes get that. So after we play a couple more best of 1s, probably shift to best of 3, start exploring what's there. I did see a Rakdos Underworld Breach Storm deck that was pretty sweet that I'm trying to recreate. And then we'll kind of see what else is there throughout the community. But nice way to start here. I think what we're going to do, we're going to keep this. I think we're going to discard Bloodghast first. And the reason being, so I'm going to shock here. Might be wrong, but this will make Bloodghast come back next turn. And then Inti's a nice draw here as well. So they probably take Bowmaster or Inti with the way my hand is. Depending if they want something to resolve, they can also keep that there as well. So here, gonna lead off with Stitcher. in case we hit another bloodghast. And now I'm just going to hold this. It has utility for us. So I'm going to go to combat first. So fatal push is fine. Then I think we're just going to play out the bloodghast here at number 2. If they're just 1-for-1ing removal-less, this might be the Necro deck. I'm pretty happy with it. Eventually they're going to have to block one of these. We will start with attacking. Okay, see Bowmaster come down. So I think I'm am I interested in killing Bo? Probably not right now. Because the thing is, I want to do the Stitcher first. Okay, so we're not hitting what we want to necessarily there. A little annoying, but we'll take it nonetheless. So we see Troll getting swamp cycled here. Usually these lists don't play a sweeper. Okay, so we see the One Ring. So I'm gonna fetch here. So I actually should have done it before they resolved because I get the card draw without the punishment here. Notably, we are out of basics, so we only have one fetchable land left. So I can discard this to get another 1-drop and then keep up Bowmaster. I do want to keep the Bowmaster together here. I could also just Luris to hand this turn, but I want to keep it in case they have like Shieldred or something, so we'll just do this. If they have Shieldred with the One Ring, it's going to be a bit annoying. But kind of hit the wrong half. We've also gone through a third of our library, no Kroxa, which at this point is going to be a little far behind, but we'll see here. It's just going to be a timing game at this point. I don't want to play this until they use the One Ring. "13 lines still in the deck, 3 Goblin Bombardments, which would be good. Stalactite can also be sacked and get some utility that way there. Probably was better off just holding this, but learning the deck. So interesting to see the cycle there. So they can have a bow of their own here, but okay, so Malachi Rebirth, not a card we see that often, so if that's the card that's going to get me, that's the card that's going to get me. Demonic Tutor, probably for Sheoldred here. Like, none of the lists I've seen online play this card, so. Might have been right to also just go face there. Okay, so we did get Kroxa, so let's start with attacking in. Oh, that actually is interesting. So this gives this menace. Kind of a cool line there. So our bloodghast will have haste after. They get rid of Thoughtseize, which at this point doesn't provide him much utility. And we go Stalker here. So with a Sheoldred, they gain 6 life, they go to 12. They have the Fatal Push. They go to 10. Might be looking for a second copy of the ring here. Swamp Cycle. Okay, Shelly. Let's see if they have another Fatal Push here. I think we've seen 2 pushes, so fairly likely that they have another push. March, big March. Okay, so that probably wins them the game there. Can't do that. Illegal block. So problem here now, they're gonna gain more life than I can deal with. And they're just gonna kind of refill their hand, so probably about a turn too late here. Second copy of the ring also insulates them, so yeah, they're just gonna gain us. The one interesting thing with this list is no Fatal Push. I think we want something to try to get life, so just kind of viewing where we think the deck is. The game was basically lost that turn, I think, with going after Bowmaster. We got Malachite Rebirth, like I said. It's not a card I'm going to play around, and I think it's important to kind of reassess those games. In retrospect, going face was correct. In reality, it is what it is. So no red mana here. Bone Shards. So they are on Dredge. So I can Souls of the Lost, this Kroxa. Get some value there. So Bone Shards has the additional cost to sacrifice creatures, so I probably want to get that going after Raid Bombardment. But I think I want to keep the fetch. For after, so let's see. So they'll mill 10. This is probably a bad matchup. What'd they hit? They hit a Creeping Chill and a Narcomoeba. So here, I can Souls of the Lost. I can Inti, discard Kroxa, try to get going. Because that finds me potentially... Because I want to get this Bone Shards out of their hand, so... I think we do that. No! That would have been nice. They mill 4. Okay, Silver Smote in the yard. So my goal is to try to get them to use this on this, because then I can Souls of the Lost. Okay, so bloodghast there. Land for bloodghast comes back. So we're on very similar game plans. We do need to be mindful just of what our life total ultimately is. So I think we do this. Discard a card. We fetch here. Do you need a second red? Sorry, I should have done it the other way, because then I wouldn't have. Because if they just hit high on Creeping Chills, I'm dead now. So I gotta try to kill them quick. See what they hit. So we got one Narcomoeba. Not too worried about that. Okay, so I can do Luris to hand. So we'll do Luris to hand here, and then pass the turn. Luris, I can get Inti back to give this trample, which will be good. And then here I can use like the token. We've kind of locked them out of these faithless lootings. It makes it pretty bad of a play. All in all, their glimpses were pretty bad. The fetches are really good in this deck because it gives you more instances for bloodghast, but it also increases your likelihood of hitting Wonder if they're playing it. So here, we block here. And then we sack here. So that does give him quite a bit of gas here. Okay, so I have Stitcher. I could do Stitcher Kroxa. Can also get Luris going. I can do... Oh, I can do Luris, Kroxa, with the trigger on the stack, kill a Silver Smote. Okay, so start with this. Oh, actually, I can't do that now. I'm one short. Okay, whatever. Another Stitcher is good. Why would it try to... Auto Tapper's drunk. We can get out of full control here. Okay, so we'll attack here. We're dead to double creeping chill, but we are dead before to double creeping chill. And then this Luris can at least start getting me value. So they might just read ahead here to exile target instant, which they do. So they're going to mill 10 here. 1 creeping chill is fine, no 2 creeping chills, no 2 creeping chills. Okay. No chills, works out. Because now I can cast Inti, and then we get it back from the yard. So this is pretty free block here, because we block. Could just trade bow there, but I think we're just double blocking. Then probably just going face, because we're going to Inti anyways. And then we're gonna, so we get Inti, this gets trample, and then it just kills over. Okay. We learning. We learning. We should have been a little bit more cautious, I think, with the manner in which we probably wanted to keep to 10 life. Again, though, they got a little unlucky off their mills. But that Grixis version, a little bit more consistent at times, but also a little bit more susceptible to Bowmaster. The Bone Shards is nice in that list, though, because it gets rid of the cards that's stuck in your hand, and it provides some removal for you. I think this is fine. Maybe, probably not, though. I don't think we... Mind you, if we hit a land, we have multiple chances. Bauble turns on Stalactite, we have a draw. Souls of the Lost can put these bloodghasts into the yard. And then we also have Kroxa. So we do have a few ways to descend. We obviously want a second land, but we have 2 draw steps, 1 between the Bauble and 1 for our turn, and then 1 afterwards. I think it's probably a keep. We'll try it out. I think I might want 1 more fetchable land, because we're also milling. You kind of dilute the availability. No! That's illegal. Why I gotta turn 1 Death Right Shaman me? Okay, land. Land. So we're doing this now. Okay, perfect. So they can't Bowmaster in response. So what we can do is Enthusiast the Bloodghast, and then play the land, get the bloodghast back. This gets the Stalactite going. No fetch is actually kind of good here because they can't Bowmaster me here. So Grixis, so they might not be able to eat at my graveyard, which is pretty good. Lightning Bolt's fine. Second Deathrite, in for 1. Yeah, I think I like this line. So we go Artillery, Binghast, get Bombardment, play a land tapped. And then next turn I can Souls, put the Bloodghast, get it that way. Notably, what we're going to want to do here is attack in first so they can shuffle away. We'll see if they do, because they're playing the Spire Bluff, which usually doesn't see play. Stalactite's really good too. So we're going to start with attacking with Bloodghast here. I want to see what they get after the fetch. So we're going to discard a card, which is this Bloodghast. This could be a counterspell. It's not. Bloodghast comes back. So notably, this does make it a 2/3. So it will die to Bolt this turn. Another land wouldn't be too bad. So notably now they can create green mana for a turn with this fetch land. So we want to slow roll this kroxa as much as possible. And they did have access to a breeding pool in their mana base. So we have to be mindful of that. A land wouldn't be too bad here. Okay, so that shrinks that down. They gain 2 life. They have the bolt there. Bit frustrating. EI. It's a good last one. Hopefully just no gas. Okay, so they're playing heavy. And Regavan. Lots of gas out of the opponent. Let's give them less info to start. Couple options here. I can take the last card from their hand, but I think I want a Stitcher because they eat my Kroxa regardless there, but then I have the Stitcher afterwards. It's not a lot of gas. So I think we're just going to do this. Okay, quite a few baubles, not much beyond that. I could Kroxa it. It does limit them that they need to top deck something. They forced to do 2 of their mana sources, so let's do that. Okay, Brainstorm's not a bad one to hit. So exile there. So it looks like Teamer black. So I think here, like the only real card draw I have in the deck is Inti, so I don't think I care necessarily about that right now. So what I will do is deal with Ragavan. I could lure us to hand, but I think I want to do this turn. So we'll get rid of Ragavan. Well, they still can't react. Get that back. Because like at a certain point, they're going to be able to keep their options open. Because the thing is, Death Rights cannot, like, they don't hit my bauble. That's a hell of a top deck. Okay, so they do that. So they can target Boo. So we're going to target Boo. We'll do Stitcher Supplier. Because if I hit 2 Kroxas here, it's good. No, just all the lines that I would have wanted. That's unfortunate. We need them to whiff a turn, but Death Right's just killing us this game. So that line gave him priority. Which is kind of annoying. Yeah, I'm just dead. Death Rights did us in. Honestly, like any other card but Minsc and Boo were probably fine. But double turn 1, or turn 1, turn 2 kind of gets you that way there. And like if there was Grixis, we were fine, but they had access to the green mana. You don't see Teamer that often, and their Teamer splash. So it's gonna get, even if we drew like Bowmaster there, shuts off the Blood Moon. There's a lot of options there. I think it's just the sequence of where we came out with it. If they miss on that, because they Brainstorm, they still hit Minsc there because they would have drawn the fetch. I think we do this. Then I bloodghast next turn. Could have been right just to play it tapped. Depending on their 1-drop, I'm gonna want. The other thing, if this is the Zoo deck, no, this is Field of the Dead. Just gonna get this out of the way. Okay, so notably this can only fetch a shock, this can fetch a basic. So I'm gonna start with the basic, field this, and then kind of go from there. We're going to discard a card. We don't get bloodghast back this turn, unfortunately, but we'll get it back next turn. They usually run some number of 1 rings. So notably, what we're going to want to do is attack first and then play the land. Arrow. Okay, that's a good one. Obviously, if Bowmaster, we held that up, but that's actually really good. Because now we can do this. Attack in. So like Stitcher Supplier would be really good here. So they hit the field there. They have the 1 ring. They have protection for this turn, but we can start pinging them next turn. Try to get them that way, but if they have Titan, then we're in quite a bit of trouble. They don't have Splodunking, which is good. I find this deck a little slow. So we'll ping them here. Ping them there. Incidental life gain's kind of annoying here. Okay, so they have Titan next turn, so next turn you're getting a lot of zombies. That's really annoying. Because like they've just fogged us 2 turns in a row, so I can't really do much. Okay, Kroxa's not bad. Takes a card out of their hand. And this is each opponent, so I mean, Grazer's a blocker. No attacks here. So they should have 1-ringed while they had the protection, because I wouldn't have been able to target them. Okay, prime time will likely get a... So they got to get 1 unique land and likely a second field. That would trigger 4 zombies. They'll likely get a... Well, actually, the World Tree fixes their mana. Mount Doom. So Mount Doom can let them blow up the 1 ring as a board wipe. So we're probably dead. I honestly don't know how this deck wins consistently. Like, there's no sustained card advantage. You end up just getting, like, incidentally... So like here, we're just dead to field. Give it 1 more. Because like I don't think we play that game any different. It just feels like we're not either fueling the graveyard fast enough. Like if you look at Dredge, they're putting 10 plus cards in. A lot of what we're doing is just like fair. Like, I would almost want Faithless Looting more than some of these other cards just churning through your deck. Like, you're weaker to Bowmaster, but you actually don't care if some of your stuff gets pinged. Okay, well, this hand's great. We go first. I think we do this, fuel the graveyard. I think the thing is, like, we want to try to maximize finding whatchamacallit? The combo deck, Charbelcher. So I think here we're just gonna Bowmaster. They play like Faithless Looting style effects, so might be able to get them. We're just not fast enough, I don't think, in this matchup. Especially since they kept, like, we're just not putting enough pressure, and we have no disruption, no hand hate. So we could just be dead next turn if they have an untapped land. Oh, there's sneak attack. So they could sneak attack in a Kroxa. So they might be Belcher sneak attack. So I can get a card out of my hand. I can... I mean, this increases the likelihood I just Kroxa next turn. I can Enthusiast and bin the Kroxa. Kroxa takes out a card from their hand. But the way they're set, they're not going to take the damage anyways. So since they're not Belcher, I'm going to fetch a basic here. That does enable it, so I think what we're going to do here, artillery the Kroxa. We get Inti. And then just have Raid Bombardment for next turn. That draws me a card. So I can discard the bloodghast. We might be dead. They might have a Kroxa. They might hit me for 15 with World Spineworm. Okay, so just Fable. That's actually okay. Ironcrag Feet. So here, I think we probably attack with Inti as well. If they want to trade, it sets them back quite a bit. So we'll discard Bloodghast. Put a counter here. We hit the land, so now I can escape Kroxa. So I have a choice. I can escape Kroxa, but I think I'm actually more interested in just killing this. The reason being, like, now they can't Ironcrag Feet me. So now we kind of hamper their like combo potential. Because they make a treasure, they can have a land, it kind of gets us that way there, so we get some utility. All right, wraps it up. So I think we went 2-3 with it. A couple games could have gone a little different. I don't like this deck, at least for my playstyle. I don't like decks where like the advantage and the server's dying just as we're trying. I was trying to pull it up, but you incidentally get hosed by what's his name? Deathrite Shaman, which is very popular. I think if you play this version of the deck, I do like something that we saw there, the Bone Shards, as a way to kind of bin the cards you want in your yard. I think if you're going graveyard combo, I would prefer Dredge. The Bombardment can do kind of cool things, but it wasn't consistent, I think, in hitting that. Selective was kind of cool. But again, just gets pinged off by a lot of the stuff with the format right now. This is in contention because this is coming back from the graveyard a lot, so it doesn't scale in the same size as it would with Dredge. Like you're trying to get these back early game. Like on 2, we saw a lot of times it getting hit by Bolt, so you kind of want to sandbag it, but it's the best way to put bloodghast from your hand into the thing. Whereas if you have something like Faithless Looting, it might be a little better. Demonic Tutor, I don't think really has a place in this type of deck. Again, like it's working. I think there could be definitely a bombardment style deck. I think just for my own personal preference, this isn't necessarily the way I like to play. The kroxas were fine. Like I like the bombardment. I like the ghast. I like this in here. You may want either more self-mill or ways to kind of fuel your graveyard. I would even be inclined to play like Deathrite Shaman with all these fetches. You can help yourself by just getting ahead of mana, and then it provides a little bit more value. It's also, this deck really could benefit from Fatal Push, I think, in addition. The Inti line was kind of cool with some of it, but largely I don't think this is going to consistently live long enough to actually be meaningful in a lot of games, plus the draw kind of puts you susceptible to Bowmaster, but my thoughts on the deck. Welcome yours if you've been playing it, what you've been liking. If I've sequenced things wrong, the feedback's always important. Thanks for watching.